guest is a public affairs commentator, Dayo Lomuwagun, right here in the studio with us. Good morning, and good to have you on the show. Yes, the IGP has actually deployed forces to Kaduna, and of course the state governor did impose 24-hour curfew and all of that. There is an attempt to restore peace in Kaduna, but then again, can peace really be achieved, long-lasting peace, without actual justice, you know, given to not just these 55 lives that have been lost, the many lives that have been changed forever, and the people who have been affected one way or the other, you know, in all of this?
So first, I think the issue in Kaduna is a recurring decimal. This is not the first, this is not the second, this is not the third. And so Solomon said in his book that if iniquity are not punished, the heart of man is bent to do evil. So until you begin to punish that iniquity. So, but the question is, in the last 4 or 5, you know, that has been happening in Kaduna, how many people have been brought to book? Now the truth is, you can't clearly say you don't know the people behind this. As from people living in Kaduna, I was listening to this a senator, I think it's Marafa, where he was talking about that this has been happening in the last 30 years. And clearly they also know some of the guys behind this. But you see, when you are bigger than the state, or when you have people have different interests, and the lives of people does not count because of other interests. And because of this iniquity is not punished. People think they can just kill and maim and go away.
No, it's becoming, like you said, it's a recurring decimal, and it is a cause for concern, not just to people in Kaduna, but Nigerians in general. Knowing that at a point when some killings were going on in southern Kaduna, the governor, Nasir El-Rufai, came out to say that he tracked them to a neighboring country, and he had to appease the perpetrators not to kill anymore. Meaning that, from all indications, this might not be something that is even being caused by perpetrators within the state. It could be an external threat, as usual. Don't you think so?
You see, I beg to disagree with that.
Okay.
And why am I saying that? There's a Yoruba proverb that says, you see, the witch outside cannot kill you without collaborating with the witch inside your house or your family. So if you see some people come from some other places outside this country, and they just come into the to Kaduna and kill, for what? Whose interest? Are they trying to take over Kaduna or trying to take over Nigeria as part of their own territory?
That seems to be where the problem is, knowing the why, the motive behind these killings. I guess if we're able to nail it down or pin it down, then we'll be able to find lasting solutions to this, don't you think? Now we're hearing, oh, it's you know, some Christian youth and Muslim youth and all of that. It's already having religious connotations, which in itself is very dangerous if it's allowed, you know, to have its way. If it's allowed to fester.
You see, I think they should be careful in Kaduna, and we should be careful in this country. You don't want to bring the religion. Usually, if we're not going to deceive ourselves, whenever it happens in Kaduna, they are two suspects. It's always two suspects: religious connotation, ethnic connotation. But the question is, you see, the people that go out to kill, who are they?
Who are they? That's the point.
You won't see a bishop go out and kill. You won't see a chief imam go out and kill. You won't see a malam go out and kill. They use people to kill. So whether it's religious or ethnic based, there are some people some people actually have control over this crisis.
And do you think that they are not doing enough, at least, to, you know, rein in their people, at least?
I think they're not. In fairness, I don't think it's enough. And because if it's enough, you won't still be seeing this killing. But again, if you look at it critically, who are these people killing? Your Almanjaris, your talks, you see, it goes beyond the peace we are sorting for now. You mentioned lasting peace, which is very important. Somebody said the peace you have in Kaduna is like the graveyard peace. That's not the kind of peace you're looking for. That's not the kind of peace where, because soldiers are around and policemen are around, people try to, you know. But to maintain a lasting peace, we've got to be sincere. So I think, in my opinion, who are the people killing? Are they the people who are gainfully employed? Are they the people who are literate? Are they the people who know they are right from the left? You see, when you think you don't have anything to lose, your life becomes meaningless to you.
So in essence, you're saying that if infrastructures are put in place, amenities are there, and people get gainfully employed, that the kind of thing that happens currently in Kaduna won't happen then?
So I think it will reduce. So it will reduce. So one, I think the starting point should be the players in this crisis should be sincere. They should be sincere. What exactly do we want for Kaduna? Are Muslim and Christian ready to live together? Are ethnics ready to understand themselves? The leader of these groups, can they sit around the table and discuss and say, we actually want Kaduna to survive, we don't want this kind of thing to happen again? So that will be the starting point.
By extension, wanting Nigeria
to
survive.
And once they agree on that, then they begin to discuss it, they begin to enlighten their people. You see, whether you like it or not, these people listen to them. They have people that they listen to. So if the people they listen to are ready to make peace, lasting peace, we'll have it. Then I also think you should begin to look at the economies of the state and even of Nigeria. Now you see the way we are even going. I can guarantee you this one will not happen another time in the nearest future. If we go by the statistics we're having around, so for example, look at the population of the country. We are told every day about 20,000 are born into this country. Every week, about 141,000. Every month, about 560,000. Every year, over 7 million. How do you sustain that population? And it's not surprising that we're beginning to say, oh, let people do family planning, let them reduce the number of children. How do you sustain
economic tensions might just be at the
So economic tensions are there.
Take this Kasua Magani case that happened in Kaduna, for example, that we're talking about now. It happened in a market, you know, in a market where some wheelbarrow, pushers and what have you had some kind of clashes for whatever reason, and then it degenerated into one person or two losing their lives, and everybody just loses their heads. We heard from Mr. President himself that this is what happened. So, to a very large extent, the government knows what exactly led to this. But then, when you hear that there's a need for the traditional institutions, the religious leaders, organizations to actually help support the police in solving this problem, is that all it will take really to solve this problem, or find ways of fixing the economy in such a fundamental way that the basic things of life are there for those people to actually feel that they have something to live for and not just go crazy at the slightest provocation?
So I think I support. We're just saying the same thing. You see, you got to do more than just calling the traditional ruler, calling the reality around and talking to them. You cannot ask me to go and fight and be killing people, and I will do that. Why?
If you had something to live for.
I'm gainfully employed. I have people who are looking up to me. If I'm not going to consider myself because of myself, I want to consider myself because of them. So the economy has to be fixed. You see, people who push barrels around, how much do they earn? So if you are not sure, you even earn 500 naira a day. Some of them, they don't earn 200 naira a day. So to them, there's nothing to lose. So somebody can just give them 1,000 naira, go and kill, and they're on their way.
And it seems that religion, ethnicity, and politics now, as we are seeing it, have become divisive factors, not just in Kaduna, but generally somehow in the country, where if you do not see eye to eye, politically, religious-wise, ethnically, you see the other person as an enemy. That is supposed to be the strength, especially the ethnic diversity of Nigeria. It's supposed to be the strength of the people.
You see, it's unfortunate. And the diversity. Now, whether it's political, you'll be surprised that the same political opponent, they sit on the same flight. Yeah. They hug themselves. They
eat in the same plate.
From the same place. They see eye to eye, but their supporters, they go out and kill.
So somebody is cashing in on the ignorance on the part of this people.
So I think to fix this issue, now apart from the players coming together and saying we actually need a lasting peace, the lasting and sensitizing their people, the lasting peace will come when you fix the economy. So people go to farm, for example. They plant their tomato or they plant their maize all around the year, and they are not even sure they will get money from it that will be enough for them to feed their family. Because those produce waste away. Yeah. And if they are bought at the end of the day, maybe just for little token that you can't even imagine. But if the economy is fixed and you have a supply chain where there are some other industry taking it taking the the produce at the other end. So you have value enhanced here. People are ready to go into farming. They are going to be, gainfully employed. Then that issue will be solved gradually. Then the issue of, sensitizing people, educating people. Where you have people who don't go to school, many of these people that cause this mayhem everywhere, they are the illiterate, they are the ignorant.
A stakeholder actually raised an issue, which I think, I wonder whether you agree, that rumors, social media and all of that is actually fueling some of these crises in Kaduna and elsewhere.
Even the bishop said it.
Yeah. I think there's a level of truth in that. I mean, there's some truth in that, but you cannot help it. You can only plead to people not to carry rumors around. To be careful, to accommodate ourselves, to be careful what to release on social media.
It's somebody's job to do. I mean, the NOA, for example, don't you think that is where they should be covering those?
But even in all of this, have you seen NOA come around? Did you hear anything from any quarter? And you see, when it takes you to hear lie over and over again, for it to become the truth.
And talking about the need for Nigerians to tolerate one another, if you understood the way the Kaduna State is structured, from what an individual told me a while back, which I had to confirm, that as a Muslim, there are areas you can reside. As a Christian, there are areas you can reside. But there is this mistrust kind of that it's just few areas that you see these Christians and Muslims reside together. So it goes beyond ethnicity, it goes beyond politics as well. It seems religion is playing a lot of role in dividing people. Again,
because this thing has been recurring, happening every time, then there's no trust. So if I'm a Christian, why will I come and live in the community where all of you are Muslim? Because when I know that at the slightest provocation, you go for my head.
So how do we get out of this vicious cycle where people can actually begin to trust each other again, whether you belong to the same political ideology as I am, or as I do, or something, or you're from my ethnic group or whatever, that we are still, first of all, we see each other as human beings and not enemies.
And then Nigerians.
And Nigerians.
I think we need a lot of education. I think the government and all the players, whether in the church, whether in the mosque, whether in the ethnic groups, we need a lot of education. If we can trust the leader of the society of this group, that they are actually going for lasting peace, then the time has come where you need to educate the people. You need to educate their followers. You see, like I said again, it's not the bishop of a church, for example, that go out and fight. It's not the imam in the mosque that goes out and fight. It's not the traditional ruler that carries his sword and is going out to fight. They are the followers. So, serious education. Education.
And education.
Feeds the economy.
All right.
Feeds the economy. Make people, empower people. We're still talking about 30,000 minimum wage.
Okay. Dayo Lomuwagun, public affairs commentator, thank you very much for your analysis at this time, as many are praying fervently for Kaduna to know peace, lasting peace.
Of course, we hear that some 22 people have been arrested.
Absolutely.
We hope that
people get
justice.
Now, we have